Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Big League Chew. This is episode 300. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin, and I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
300. Dude, come on, let's go.
300 for the 3-0 Take.
Did be honest, when you thought of this idea, did you see this coming to fruition?
I don't know if I saw us getting 300. There was moments where I thought, honestly, over the course of 300, where I was like, maybe we should just call it. Maybe we should bag this thing. Maybe we should. I don't know. Honestly.
Just hang it up.
There were moments. Genuine, authentic moments. I wasn't like being too dramatic. I was like, man, maybe it's run its course. But the fact that we're here at 300, it's quite the feat.
And we're here, we're thriving.
I was actually going back and looking at some. I mean, we can save it. We can save it for later. I'll try to make a note for it. But I was going back and looking at some of the old episode descriptions from like the early episodes that we did, just to get a feel for like where baseball was at, like what was going on when we first started this thing. Because for those who are unfamiliar, haven't been following that long, maybe just started listening in the last year or so, we started this back in
2018.
August of 2018?
Yeah, basically close to the end of the season there.
Which was such an arbitrary point in time to just start up the
Very strange,
I was like, I gotta get some baseball talk out there, so let's fire it up. Let's fire it up for the people. Yeah, like I said, I think it'd be fun if we could read through some of these old episode descriptions, but I'll save that for later when we go through some memories, go through some voicemails, go through some DMs. But first, Nate, let's talk current day baseball. Braves Mets.
This is building, dude. This is building up, and I'm here for it. Like, I'm really here for it. Is this, if this could possibly line up to be the NLDS, right? Because the Dodgers are no, it won't, because the Dodgers are probably going to be the top seed in the NL, which means they get the wild card. They get the wild card winner, right? And then Mets, being the second best team in the NL, would get the third best, the other third division winner. So the Central, they would get the Brewers or Cardinals, right? I think that's how it would line up. If the Braves in fact can run through their section, they would most likely line up with the Dodgers.
So right now, Dodgers have 75 wins, best record in the NL.
In baseball.
Oh, yeah, best record in baseball. Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah.
So they would get the wild card winner. Why am I struggling with this right now?
I think, they would get the wild card winner, and then the Mets would get whoever wins the Central, if the Mets do in fact hold on to the division. Because the top seed is going to get the lowest seed.
Right, so it would be the Dodgers getting the top seed, and then it would be a matchup between the Central and the East.
Correct. And then the Dodgers would get whoever comes out of the wild card.
Right, okay.
Which would be that Braves, Phillies, Brewers / Cardinals, San Diego conversation.
Right, okay. So that would potentially be the CS.
Yeah. So the Braves are going to have to go through a harder path to get to the Mets, I think.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, but overall, I mean, we were just kind of talking about this before we got on. Where are you at? Like, talk to me of where you think, because I think you can start to appreciate that the Mets have built this confidence and momentum that I mean they're going, dude. They're going to the postseason. You know that. And they're probably gonna make a little bit of a run.
Would it not be fitting if on episode 300 I decided to maybe show some signs of growth, some signs of maturity
I
here?
would genuinely appreciate that type of advancement in you.
I did say before we hopped on, I said it's getting electric in Queens, and I don't know if I like it.
It is.
It's going against everything I've been preaching all season.
It is.
The Mets are not doing me any favors with my argument. We're running out of time. It's the start of the second week of August. And
I think that's what I mean, watching them, just going back a couple weeks to the Yankees series, it just feels like this momentum is getting to the point where like I feel like the regular season is about there, especially with, it's like DeGrom coming back in full swing, and then Scherzer, Scherzer just gets better as we get down this stretch. Guys like that just get better. The Scherzers, the Verlanders, the vets, those guys just get better. And it's like that 1-2 punch with a confident offense. And Edwin Diaz is now the best closer in baseball with obvious hype around his intro and being put on video every week.
Did you know that he has trumpets for his intro?
I had no idea.
I surely didn't.
Relax, people. We've seen it before. I don't understand why everybody has to make sure that it's like continuously shown over and over and over. Like, we know, we get it.
No, I'm not gonna rag on it.
I don't hate on it. I understand it. It's cool.
We can't. No, look. I get where you're coming from, and to a point, I agree with you. But like we talk all the time, like baseball needs to market itself, and like this is clearly one of the more electric things in baseball right now. So like I can't exactly knock on. And I mean, to be fair, it's across multiple outlets. Like if it was the same outlet, just being like, "Hey, check out this intro for Edwin Diaz. Check out this intro for Edwin Diaz." It's like, okay, we get it, we understand, but I think it's just making its rounds across all of baseball social media. So I'm
cool with it. I'm cool with it. I like it. I am in the camp of that. It's solid.
I think
it's the same way I'm in the camp of Shohei. I'm still, yes, I'm an Ohtani fan. I'm a baseball fan. I'm not an idiot. What he does is insane and it's great. But do we need to constantly show it and talk about it? I mean, I don't know. There's other people in the league. There's other things
basically
happening.
what you and I are saying is if at this point on August 8th, if you're still unaware of what Edwin Diaz's intro is,
you're never going to be aware.
You should maybe consider not being a fan of baseball because it's clear that you don't pay attention.
Exactly.
Really
that's
whatsoever. So
that's all I'm saying.
That's what we're
saying. But the Mets, dude, come on. Talk to me.
Dude, all right, look. What was it? A couple episodes ago, maybe 298, 297, somewhere in there.
You were warming up.
I said this is the closest I think I've been to saying that the Mets are real. I feel like it takes a real big man to freaking eat crow and come on here and say this
to
narrative
admit his
that
mistakes,
I
am that big man.
It takes a big man to admit his mistakes, and I'm that big man. It takes a big man to come on here and say that the narrative, to eat crow and say the narrative that he's been pushing for the entire season, even going into last offseason,
it's faded.
It's just not there.
Yeah. And I know you want it to be there, and I know a lot of baseball fans want it to be there. But
here's the thing. The second I take the plunge into saying that the Mets are here to stay and that this is real, and for whatever reason, see, this is why I'm so hesitant to completely just jump overboard, is if the baseball gods have it the way that I've been saying it all year,
yeah,
and something happens to the Mets these last 2 months, I can't go back. So, like, I really need to be sure that the Mets are here to stay. Like, I really need to be sure. And I know people are looking at saying, well, they just took 4 out of 5 from the Braves, the team that was on their tail coming for the division.
Do they play the Dodgers anytime soon?
Well, I know they got I think it's a 4-game set against the Braves coming up, meaning the Mets.
Yeah, so the Mets are going to run through Cincy, Philly, Atlanta, Philly again, Yankees for the remainder in the Bronx for that series, Dodgers at the end of the month, in the beginning of September for a 3-game set. I think I'm looking forward to that one. I think that stretch is going to tell me some things.
Because look,
if you finish out August the way they've been, like if they finish out August the same way that they've been all year, then like once you're in September, you gotta kind of say, yeah, okay, these guys are.
And look, we were just talking before we started recording. It doesn't take, like with the Yankees, it doesn't take much to get the snowball rolling for things to start unraveling. And you just said it. The last 5 games have you reminiscing on Yankee baseball of the last couple years, where it's like, what are we really doing? What am I watching? What baseball is this?
Seeing some old habits.
Not saying that's what's happening with the Mets, but I'm saying that's why I really need to be sure, because there's still people say, well, regular season pretty much in the bags. We still got 2 months of baseball left, give or take.
Yeah.
And so I just really need to be sure. And I don't want to commit. I don't want to throw in the towel on my narrative. Granted, it would take.
I think you have the rest of the month, and that's it.
It would take a colossal.
This is the longest we can wait on this.
It would take a colossal collapse for the Mets to Met at this point, but it's the Mets, so again.
I know, I get it. Sure. We all like it. We all are happy when the Mets fail. We all enjoy it. It's just this seems a little different.
No,
I think all those Braves fans out there can. No,
we can't. I gotta have
it's
a little
late.
more.
It's very late.
I need to take ownership of this, and
it's very late.
Dude, the freaking Mets are real. The Mets are real. The Mets are here to stay. I'm in.
Wow. Give me the 300 noise right there.
Episode 300. The growth is there. The maturity is there.
I'm proud of you.
The Mets are here.
I'm proud of you. This is good. This is a big step for you. This is important. This is important to understand.
The Mets are here. The Padres,
even Adam Ottavino looks pretty good over there. Like if he's looking good,
look, no, you got the Mets are real out of me. Let's not get carried away now. Like I'm not going to say this isn't going to be an Adam Ottavino.
ERA's in the 2s for Ottavino.
Praise session.
If he's succeeding, he's got to be one of the weakest links on that team. And if he's having this kind of year, that's got to solidify your statement. Mets are a little different.
I once had a weak link, and now I no longer have an Arctic Wolf.
I'm not sure if I know that quote.
That's
at
a
all.
Dwight deep cut right there. That's for the hardcore Office fans. Apparently, I guess Nate didn't catch that one. Well, that's a shame.
The extended cut stuff on Peacock.
No, it's not an extended cut. That's the OG. That's the OG series right there.
Yeah,
that's fine. Right. We'll work on it.
All right, that's deep. That's like
deep cut.
Yeah.
That's a deep cut. Speaking of deep cuts, the Padres just, I mean, what a blow. What a blow this series was to the Padres organization and fan base. Getting swept by the Dodgers, you really would have thought after the additions that the Padres made at the deadline that maybe they could hold their own against the Dodgers. And the Dodgers had other thoughts.
Outscored 20-4 in a 3-game set. That's not good.
That's not great. And I'll be honest with you, I'm still not really. I'm not all that convinced that this Soto in a Padres uniform is a good look. just looks it's bizarre.
Not a fan?
No, I mean, I'll come around to it, but
I don't think
just
it's going to last
strange.
very long.
Yeah, I know. You made that very clear last episode.
But I mean, here's the thing though. When you look at like this series, when you look at the guys that went for the Padres, I mean, it was Minaya, it was Clevenger, it was Yu Darvish.
Which game did Kershaw go? Because he got pulled with.
I feel like that was in San Francisco. I think that was right before the San Diego.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I'm losing track of my days. I was at the beach this weekend. If you can't tell, look
Yeah,
nice
that was he went 4 innings against San Francisco on Thursday, and then
looking
that's when he walked off.
nice tomato red here on YouTube for those watching.
I'm proud of you. I look
Explains the sun a little
fluorescent
bit,
white.
which doesn't make sense because of how nice it is out there all the time, as you tell me.
Yeah, we don't go outside right now, but yeah, I think this is a punch in the mouth, and I think it's something that like it's gonna show you how the Padres react. Do they fold and do what they did last year and just implode? Or do we see, a little bit of a response, some type of response that is going to, kind of say, hey, like we made these moves for a reason, and it's not just a flash in the pan. We're going to be able to do something for you. So I'm excited to see it.
Look, we say all the time, you can have all the names you want on paper, but you have to play the games. You have to play the game of baseball. And I don't think the Dodgers, to be quite frank, were all that impressed. They're like...
They don't care.
They don't care. And we say it all the time. The Dodgers are in this weird position where it's like, have you forgotten about us? When you talk, like last year, it was the Giants. Like, wow, look out for the Giants. We were on that boat. We were saying,
yeah,
look at these old dads just
they
running through the league. Dodgers are like, okay, sweet. This year, even last year, the Padres too, but we know how that ended up. But this year, it's like, oh, look out for the Padres, us included. We're saying, I mean, that's a pretty terrifying lineup.
I think it's safe to say that like the Dodgers have embraced what was the 90s Yankees narrative. 100%. Like it is like we expect to win. It's World Series or bust. And I mean, this is a failure unless we bring home a ring. And I think that's the mentality from top to bottom, with ownership, with front office, and now with the roster. It's like, this is nothing else matters. And I think that's why you see, I mean, we talked about how bad Cody Bellinger has been the last couple of years during the regular season. It's like, no one cares. We don't care what you do in the regular season. If you show up in the playoffs and you do what Cody Bellinger is supposed to do, because we've seen him get clutch. We've seen MVP Bellinger. We know that's in there. That's what I'm saying. All is forgiven. This Dodgers team is now adopted that mentality where there's no such thing as a successful year unless there's a ring attached to it. And you can hate on them all you want. You can say they spend all the money in the world, and you can credit that only. You can hate on Dave Roberts as much as you want and questionable decisions being made, but their mentality is the mentality you want your team to have. Deep down, you know that. Whoever your favorite team is, you wish you had the Dodger mentality right now.
Side note, can I give you some credit, some love for that take you had? I guess it was right before the season started about Cody Bellinger. I mean, you were maybe a couple batting average points off from him actually not finishing the year in a Dodgers uniform.
Yeah, I know. I thought he was going to get sent, and I think if the Soto to Dodgers thing would have happened, I do think he would have been included. I do think that. Maybe him and Max Muncy. I could have seen that.
Yeah, I mean, if the Padres can
If Josh Bell was attached to the deal still.
Yeah, I mean,
If it was just Soto, probably not Max Muncy.
If they can unload Hosmer, I'm sure the Dodgers could unload Max Muncy.
Yeah, not a problem. And yeah, I'm not rooting against Cody Bellinger by all means. Like I like he's obviously baseball's better when superstars perform, and so he can be a superstar, and he was on track to kind of move right into that Buster Posey type first couple 5-6 years into your career kind of thing, and he's really fallen off the map, and things need to be adjusted. But don't forget that guy has it in him.
So how do we feel about where the postseason picture is at this particular moment? Knowing what we know now about the Dodgers, Padres, so on and so forth. You got the Dodgers, best team in baseball. You got the Cardinals, who have
I think the NL is really top heavy.
Climbed their way back into the central lead. Also, people need to chill. Coming after me. Or no, was it your take? About it was your take about when the Brewers shipped off Hader.
Yeah.
People were trying to justify the move. It's like, well, no. That's
their own clubhouse was confused. There were multiple interviews with Brewers being like, I'm not sure what we're doing.
Yeah, Devin Williams, to be exact.
Hello.
There's people saying,
yeah,
because I think you said something along the lines of it sent a mixed message to the clubhouse. People saying literally came on there and said they had the audacity to type out the words, "No, it didn't." I said, look at the video. Devin Williams, the guy who you're like praising all of a sudden. Oh, and who, by the way, like a day after the trade happens, blows a save. I think it was like a walk-off in Cincy or something, or somewhere. I'm like, that's a good look.
Can't be naive about that. This is one of the greatest closers of all time. That's what Josh Hader will finish as. Top 10 closer of all time. You don't just get rid of that guy in a postseason run and expect no repercussions. Get out of here.
People trying to justify it saying, well, the pieces they got back in return and you've got Devin Williams. It's like, okay, you could maybe float that argument in maybe in the off season where you have time to like let the dust settle,
adopt
readjust,
a new role,
like
get
collect
your mentality
yourself,
right,
head into spring training. You don't do that in a playoff race.
No,
and I don't want to sit here and waste any more time and energy trying to explain myself. It's pretty simple.
There's no need to justify those comments. I will ride that the rest of the way out. No problem.
Unreal. So then you got the Cardinals atop the Central. You got the Mets top the East. Braves are now 6.5 back. So as it stands right now, you've got the Dodgers, Cardinals, Mets. And then the 3 wild cards are, I believe, you got Atlanta,
Philly, San Diego.
Yeah, Philly, San Diego.
As of right now, Milwaukee a game and a half out from the 3rd spot.
Entering Monday. And then I
can't believe Philly's going to skirt by because of the top. This is a top-heavy league.
Yeah.
The NL is very top-heavy. Because, I mean, we're talking about, on the AL side, 5 teams still in contention. You can argue as much as you want about the Red Sox, but they're still somewhat in contention. And they're 5 games out from the 3rd spot. As bad as the White Sox, or underwhelming as I should say, as the White Sox have been, they're still in contention. Baltimore, we already know. The Guardians, hello, wake up. They're real. Speaking of which, I'm curious to see where Franmil goes. There's going to be a little Franmil pop that's going to be added to a playoff roster at some point.
Dude, tell me how the how the Guardians unload him. You still got a Franmil Reyes bobblehead night in September. How does that work?
Tough. Enough time to cancel it and swap it out.
Well, what do you do with the bobbleheads?
You donate them for sure. You send them all to Fran Mills' new place.
Who's taking those?
I don't know. It's awkward. It's
like it sounds
awkward
terrible.
for
Like
sure.
it sounds terrible, but like you sent, I know you sent like the runner up in like a big championship game or something. Like I know March Madness is a big one because they just have so many teams you got to print shirts for in case they win. And like you can send those and people can use those things for
bobbleheads. You can't do anything with
for those in need. Like people need clothes. They need clothes, but bobblehead. What are you going to do with bobblehead?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Fran Mills just going to get them all. They're going to get shipped to his garage, and he's going to have to store.
Does he
have to store them in there?
Does he get billed for all 10,000
20,000
20,000 bobbleheads? Like, hey, dude.
Just the bill gets
because you
an Amazon delivery. It's like, hey, dude, you're going to have to clear out half your garage.
Hey,
Poor
dude,
Fran
because
Mill.
you decided to suck. These 20,000 bobbleheads are now coming out of your last
I'm
paycheck.
telling you, he's going to go. You could take a flyer on him. I could see it.
I don't know.
Somewhere.
I mean, who's taking them? At this point, the Sox will probably try to take a flyer on him and claim that that's our big move at the deadline, even though the deadline's a week.
It's a low risk, high reward kind of thing. Someone's going to do it. Who knows? Maybe Astros. Somebody like that.
No,
Mariners.
I think the Astros are settled in. I don't think they need to fool with anything else. I think they're.
I don't know. It's sign him to a minor league deal, see how he does for a couple weeks kind of thing.
So how do we think this shapes out? Do we like Philly's chances? I know we mentioned Philly. Do we like Philly's chances of holding on these last 2 months? Potentially getting Harper back in September, I read.
I feel like between Philly and Milwaukee are the two. Like I feel like the Padres are going to be fine, right? Tatis is going to come back. You could probably see some little bit of a spark that he provides. Philly gets Bryce Harper back. That spark. I think I'm going to go Philly over Milwaukee. Milwaukee's going the other direction. Yeah. That's the way I see it.
Wow.
I don't think I think the Braves hold on to that first spot for sure. But I think I'm going to take Philly and San Diego.
Wow, man, that hater move really stung you, didn't it?
They just don't seem the same. They don't seem like that typical, like even Corbin Burns he's been kind of up and down all year. You know what I mean? That rotation doesn't seem like it's been performing the same way they did last year. We know their offense has always been an issue. I don't know. It doesn't get me going. Philly, I feel like plugged some holes at the deadline. Plus, we already mentioned Harper's coming back. Alec Boehm is arguably been a top 5 hitter the last 2 months. So it's like they're putting some things together. And they're moving in a direction. They released Didi. So I see them moving in a new direction. I see the Phillies. I don't think they're going to do anything in the postseason. They're going to run into some buzzsaws eventually. But
I admittedly have not been paying as close enough attention to the Phillies as I should be, considering how high I was on them coming into the season. With the DFA of Didi, does this put Bryson as their shortstop?
I think that's kind of what it seems like. Yeah, that's kind of what it seems like. And he's electric. Like I know he hasn't been able to really like string together a solid season yet, but he has some electric moments, and he's got the confidence. That I think it's just a matter of time before that guy starts to show up. JT Real Muto looks like he's starting to hit. You know what I mean? And then they plug that void of center field with Brandon Marsh. They brought in David Robertson back to the bullpen. Again, these aren't like ground-breaking moves to where they're gonna do anything in the postseason. But I prefer them over Milwaukee personally. And not to, I mean, Schwarber knows how to hit. Nicky Castellanos is kind of up and down, but he's a spotlight kind of guy. I think as this comes down the home stretch, Philly's going to start to heat up.
I like that. I like it a lot.
Why not? It's fun. And like I want to see Bryce Harper. I want to see Schwarber. I want to see Castellanos. They have a solid roster. I want to see that in the postseason. May not last very long, but I want to see it. Bryce Harper needs to be in the postseason. It's just, it has to happen. He's must-watch TV constantly. It has to happen. Milwaukee, what? Who are we going to miss out on? McCutchen? Hunter Renfroe? Okay. Shout out to our boy Mike Brassell having a great year, but like, there's nothing there for me in Milwaukee.
I feel like it's been that way for a number of years. It's when you think of Milwaukee
and I
baseball,
tried.
it's
I
like,
tried. I tried at the beginning of the year to go this route.
You did. I'll give you
I tried.
credit.
And
And
the
look,
Cardinals look like I think they're going to go on a little bit of a run here and really just kind of walk away with the division.
Well, with Milwaukee, it's not necessarily their roster construction because obviously they're a talented ball club. I think it really just comes down to their market where it's like, I could do with or without those names and be just fine. Like I'd much rather see those names in Philly.
Yeah.
Come October. And I think people say what they want about Philly. Oh, Philly's the little brother of the NL East. Like
that's fine.
You're kidding yourself if you think you'd rather see somebody else besides them between those teams that we talked about. Like, no, we need to see Kyle Schwarber. We need to see Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos. We need him to turn it on. Come on.
Yeah.
You're
and
fooling yourself.
I mean that late, like, you know, when they won in 2008, like that 2007 to 2011 stretch for the Phillies, that was good baseball. And you love to hate the Phillies. You love to hate Philly fans. You love to hate their environment.
Philly sports
It's
in general.
good for sports. Yeah, it's good for sports. And you either love or hate Bryce Harper. So it's like, come on now. You got to admit, this would way better baseball than Milwaukee.
Well, I only love and could never hate Big League Chew.
All love there. BLC. Big League Chew, founded by former left-handed pitcher Rob Nelson. Big League Chew started from humble beginnings in the Portland Mavericks bullpen in 1977. For more than 40 years, the iconic pouches packed with shredded, flavorful bubblegum has become the #1 gum of athletes everywhere. Big League Chew has sold more than 900 million pouches and is designated as the Big League Chew Hall of Fame bubblegum. Hello?
Here it is.
Big League
See,
Chew.
look,
How?
right here on the
I don't
back.
understand.
Right here on the back, it's got the bit that we're not making that up. The logo is literally right there.
We're not.
It's the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
You could still feel like a kid also. I mean, like, hello. Like, it doesn't get any better than that.
Hello.
Grab some gum, some of theirs. Head to Big League Chew's social media channels, at Big League Chew on Twitter, at Big League Chew Gum on Instagram to show off your Big League bubbles. Look, we do it all the time. They repost it all the time. If you want a little love, you want a little, 15 seconds of fame, Big League Chew is going to repost it because they're awesome over there. You can also find a list of retailers or purchase any of their products directly from their website at bigleaguechew.com. BLC, Big League Chew.
I was just reading the story again on the back of the pouch. Never gets old.
Gets you hyped. Gets
Never
you
gets
hyped.
old. I love it. Nate, let's talk about this Field of Dreams game that's coming up on Thursday, which I believe is the 11th. Yep, that's August 11th. I want to say it's at 6:15. Oh, I need to check. Is that Eastern? That can't be Eastern. It's got to be. Is that Central? Is Iowa Central?
Yeah.
There was a state the other day where I found out that it wasn't in the Central time zone. And my mind was blown. I'm like, there's no way that it's not Central. It was in the Eastern time zone.
Ohio. That one gets me. I'm like, you guys are really Eastern.
Was it Ohio?
Yeah.
Are they Eastern?
I think half of Tennessee splits.
It may have been.
I think they split that one.
It may have been Ohio. It was one of those states where you're like, no, there's no way.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
It throws me off with like game times and stuff. Like I plan on it being at a certain time and it's not, and then my whole day's ruined.
I agree.
It says 6:15 on Thursday the 11th. You don't tell me the time zone. Okay, it's 7:15 Eastern. The jerseys just dropped. How do we feel about the jerseys?
Love them.
This is a baseball jersey only podcast. We only talk about baseball jerseys.
They nailed it. This is exactly how it should be. This is not an all-star game. This is not a players' weekend. This is tribute to classic look of what these teams were. They're perfect. Like the off-white for the Cubs, that cream color, whatever you want to call it, love it. Even the C, like even the weird, like it looks like a Bears Chicago C. I'm cool with it because that's OG. That's like it's spot on. Dude, you don't need to mess with this.
That Cubs logo on the hat, I love that logo.
Big fan. Yeah.
Huge fan.
Big fan. Love it.
Yeah, they nailed it. I mean, they even got the sorry, you may have already said all these things, but I was pulling up the picture. The pant style too. They've got like the elastic, which I know some pants do, but it seems as though they went very intentional with that. They're like, okay, we're gonna go socks up.
Do you force your whole ball club to do that?
Yeah. And call me an old head, but like for one game, guys can set aside their preferences for the sake of the greater good. And by the greater good, I mean a uniform, no pun intended, game between two teams.
Love it. Just wanted to double check.
I mean, they just crushed it.
How do you feel about the Reds hat? I know it's traditional.
We have seen these before. Like
yeah.
I think they wore these back in like 19.
It's cool, man.
Oh yeah, no, hold on. So I'm just learning this as I look. These are 1919 throwbacks, and I guess they brought them back in 2019 as part of the
makes sense
100-year celebration. What did you ask me?
How do you feel about the Reds hats?
I love it, dude. I love it all. The only thing I really don't like about this game is the matchup. Like, I could really do without either of these teams. I think last year's matchup between the Yankees and White Sox was, I don't know.
I'm cool. I'm cool with the matchup. I am. I know like we would prefer better teams. But I'm cool with the matchup of it being like I think we have to recognize that this is like a Midwestern theme, obviously. You know what I mean? Like it's an ode to the Midwest. It's about the heart of our country, the heartland, you know what I mean? Like that's where it's all got to go. So I already feel bad for all those fans in those like 6 states that don't get to watch any baseball all year because they're all in blackout restrictions. So it's cool that I think they deserve this moment. It's just, yeah, I mean, it would have been a lot worse if Wilson Contreras got dealt. That's for sure. If he left the Cubs, this would have been a terrible, terrible way to do things. But
and I agree. And look, I got a foot in both camps. Like I see it both ways. I get exactly what you're saying about keeping it kind of to the Midwest, and in a weird way, having like mediocre teams it takes less pressure away from the game itself because they're not necessarily like if you put the Yankees and Mets in this game, it's like okay, it's the event's
bigger.
nice,
it's bigger than Field of Dreams. It's like this means too much.
Yeah. It's like you there's too much at stake here.
You feel like this is too late in the season? I'm assuming this got pushed just the way the All-Star game got pushed because of the lockout.
I think it's a little too late, but again,
I prefer this in like mid-July.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the point of that we just talked about, where it's like there's less pressure on this game. So it's like, yeah, it may have gotten pushed, but
Yeah.
like not that much is at stake here.
And it's going to be a good game because there's going to be juiced baseballs. And it's clearly not a very big ballpark that they've created.
We're
talking home run galore for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think they did, all things considered. I think that I'm looking at it right now. I think they did a great job with that ballpark.
That
was my biggest concern when they did this.
I like
for
it.
the first
I'm not
time
complaining
last
about
year. It was my biggest concern they were going to over commercialize this thing. They were just going to completely ruin the grounds of that, whole area. But I mean, doing what they did to get a Major League Baseball ready field in that area, and being able to connect it to the old field, I mean, got to take a cap.
If MLB continues to treat this correctly, this will be MLB's Masters. The way PGA does the Masters, and it's like you get it every spring, and it's got that that just nostalgic feel about golf. If MLB continues down this road, they're gonna be able to get that because you keep it small. I think if you remove, I don't know if you knew this, but when you go to the Masters in Georgia at Augusta, no phones. If you're a fan there and you're walking and you're following the tournament all weekend, no phones. You don't get any technology. They have pay phones if you need to make a call. So that's how MLB needs to go this route with Field of Dreams. Keep it exactly just traditional. That I think we talked about it last year. I don't like the idea of walk-up songs. It's weird. I don't think, 2 Chainz going off in the middle of the cornfield is kind of the vibe we're looking for.
I'm pretty sure that's almost verbatim the quote that you had at the end of last year. I need to look this up. It was something like Imagine Dragons and 2 Chainz or something. Oh, yeah. That's great.
It's just I don't see it. Like Tyga doesn't need to be just popping off in the middle of the cornfield. I think this is something where you embrace the classic national pastime for just one game. That's all I'm asking for. And we saw that game, what was it, a month ago on Peacock, where there was no commentators. It was just the natural sound of the game. I'm not asking for that.
By accident, right? Didn't we find out that was by accident?
I think that was, yeah.
It's kind of nice.
Had some issues there. Yeah. And it's cool. And I think you got to go that type of route. And I think you could do something fun as a before and after event. Something fun on the field. Again, just I keep going back to the Masters for PGA stuff. They have like the par 3 competition, right? Where caddies, where like you bring your loved one to be your caddy, and you're going through a practice round, but your caddy is the one, or your wife or something like that for the Field of Dreams game. Let's get this. I think if you could do something with Little League, get them involved, I think you could make this a solid event. But again, let's just keep it as traditional as possible.
Sorry, so I pulled up the quote. I finally found it.
Right.
Nate Reyes, August 13th, 2021. I don't need to hear DaBaby playing through the cornfields. We get that every single day. I'm not saying it's bad. I listen to him all the time. But for this, just leave it as is.
Yeah. All good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting hype music, but like I think if you could just get back to that like natural feel where you're hearing the dugouts yell at each other, you're hearing the 5,000 or 8,000 fans that are there, and there's no technology. There's no, when you're looking at the crowd, you don't need to see kids scrolling through Instagram while they're watching the game. Like, just be there, be in the moment, and let's treat this game as that type of situation. If you want to keep doing it every year. And it could be a refreshing take that keeps the old heads like us in many ways still happy about how they treat it. And it's kind of it's an untouchable thing. Well,
I do have a note here that says that there's there's no official word as to whether or not this is going to continue. So that if it doesn't, for whatever reason, this would be a really weird thing to have like 3 Field of Dreams games for, and then just drop the concept. So like, I feel like if you're going to commit,
do it all the way.
Just do it all the way. Although I will be interested to see how they like what they change. You can't just bring. I mean, I guess you could, but I feel like bringing out Kevin Costner for like a theatrical entrance. There's only so many things you can do for that. So
exactly. You don't need to make as many references to the movie. As this starts to fade out, it can just be its own thing. And I think I hope they do it that way. But I'm sure you're right. I'm sure there's some type of clause with the contractual agreement on the grounds in the museum and everything of like, hey, this is only going to last so long. But it brings attention to the way baseball used to be played. And let's just leave it that way.
I agree. Nate,
and Joe Buck.
No Joe Buck.
Yay.
That's a great start.
I mean, that's gonna change the whole thing. I think people are gonna really like it this year.
Is it time to reflect back on 300?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Before we hopped on, we're like, I'll spend maybe 20 minutes on current events and
solid hour
talk pod the rest of the way. Here we are, almost an hour in. All right, 300 episodes. We got. I love doing this breakdown each time we look back at a milestone. So we have 300 episodes. Episode number 1 was just me, riding solo. And as we all know by this point in time, if you've been listening long enough, you know that I made a very, very swift decision after episode 1 to bring somebody else on, because I was like, no, I'm not doing this. This sucks. I suck. Yeah. I need to bring somebody else on to suck with me because I don't want to spend my time doing this.
Yeah.
So enter Nate, episode 2.
Yeah.
We all know how that episode starts.
I think the first I've happily forgotten the first 100 episodes, at least.
It never fails to shock me just how differently the audio sounds. You quite literally, you've told the story 1,000 times. For a majority of those episodes, those early ones, you were in your car.
Yeah. Holding my phone.
Holding your phone.
On speaker. I had you on speaker and I'm just holding the phone up because AirPods didn't sound good or headphones didn't sound good. Yeah.
And people say, well, why would you go out in your car? Well, it was the only place that you could really go that was somewhat insulated.
Yeah.
And you just had to run the risk.
Yeah.
You had to run the risk that no motorcycle is going to be flying by at 65 miles an hour down your neighborhood street.
Yeah.
And that's how we did it. And now we're here.
You were in a closet back in Durham. You were literally in a closet.
I've got
like a shoulder width deep, like it's just not at all, like not a walk-in closet.
It was not a walk-in closet by any stretch. I'm trying to find it here.
Oh man.
What a wild time that was.
Like hangers above you on the bar with
Yeah, dude. I had to.
Oh man. Did you get a little fan in there, I think? Did you get a little fan in there to keep you cool?
Look at
this. Airflow going.
Look at how snug that is, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude. Unreal.
A little desk. Was that like a little side table you got in there?
That was like a little lap desk that I put up on top of a table so that I could set my computer on.
And I do remember I think you put some stuff up behind you just to get a little look going.
No, so that was the other when we moved back up when I moved back up to Virginia, and we were in our first apartment after I got married, and I was in that walk-in closet.
Ah, yes.
And that wasn't even really a walk-in closet, but it had this like weird.
It's bigger than that one.
A little bigger than that one. And I put up like a little letterboard behind me where I'd put up my message of the episode for that day. And
yeah.
We're slowly growing from that from that point in time, thankfully, because that was rough. But yeah, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, it was really interesting to go back through some of these episode descriptions and just like remind myself where baseball was. Like episode 1, what are you doing, Gary? Let me see the.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's Gary
Gary's-
Sanchez in Tampa.
Yes, Gary
Yeah,
Sanchez,
with like 3 pass balls.
forever immortalized as the figure, the character.
I literally
in
know
a-
the exact game, and
in
I'll
episode
never
1.
forget that game. I know
was
exactly what you're talking about.
It was in July of 2018.
Yeah, ridiculous.
What an in-depth description from yours truly. Gary Sanchez, comma, Chase Utley's legacy, comma, and a $3 million baseball card, question mark. No wonder nobody listened to crap back. Like, if I read that, I'm going,
The most
what a
cryptic.
what a garbage description that was. Oh yeah, episode 3, Nate sings "Sweet Caroline." That was
an early peak for me.
it was all downhill after that. Like, I mean, it doesn't get more
Early peak.
viral.
Yeah, for
than
those
that.
unfamiliar, we had a mid-season series bet between the Yankees and the Red Sox, and the bet was I had to sing parts of I think like the first 10 or 15 seconds of "Sweet Caroline" on the next episode. And obviously 2018 is when the Red Sox went on and won everything, so it was just your year.
Bryce Harper was still with the Nationals.
Yeah. Wow.
Um,
I don't think Mike Trout signed his contract yet. Right? He wasn't committed to the Angels.
Here we go. September 2018. We talk Mike Trout's lifetime contract proposal.
Yeah.
David Wright's last hurrah. Dude, David Wright was still playing baseball when we were recording this podcast.
Weird, right? Weird, yeah.
What?
Some big milestones passed.
What else we have?
We've lost some legendary players since then, too.
No kidding.
Like legends. I mean, Tom Seaver and Hank Aaron,
Phil Niekro.
Whitey Ford, like, yeah, a lot
John
of big
Morgan.
names. Yeah. Lots happened.
Oh yeah. So back to the math. Episode 1 went solo. Nate's on board from episode 2 on. That first postseason, 2018, Nate's out sick, literally in the middle of the playoffs.
I remember that. I was sick.
Nate
Yeah.
was sick as a dog, and I'm like, well, I
Yeah.
can't not do an episode in the middle. I'm pretty sure it was like in the middle of the World Series. And I'm like, I can't not post an episode. So I went solo for like the World Series back in 18. That was interesting.
Yeah.
And then
that
I
was
think
not
there-
fun.
Was there another one that you maybe missed? I think that was it. I think you've been on for every other one. I don't think
I
I've
feel
done
like there was
solo.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's probably it. I think we just realized that solo is not the move.
Talked to Kyler Murray. What a
Wow.
Yonder Alonso was still playing. We talked about his move within the division. I'm just going through these descriptions, man. The hot
Well, I mean,
takes and
it's just
predictions
like-
episode.
personal life too. I mean, you've gotten married since, you know.
Yep, got married at the end of 2019.
It's crazy.
We've upgraded equipment. There's just been so much that's happened.
Yeah.
Let's look at. You want to do some voicemails? We got some
Let's do
voicemails
some
and DMs.
voicemails,
We've got
yeah.
a blend. We got a blend of the two. So maybe we can alternate here a little bit.
Maybe
Let's
some
go-
people are remembering some things I don't know, some fond memories.
Yeah, let's
Hopefully.
go voicemail here.
Hey guys, Kyle, Nate. First off, congratulations on 300 episodes. It's awesome to be able to kind of just be on the listening side of this journey that you guys have been on, and being able to hear you guys talk about the sport that I love, and I know everyone who calls in and listens loves. I just want to send a personal note story about what the podcast has meant to me over the course of these episodes. I started listening to you guys in December of 2020, and I was going through and about to go through what has inarguably been the toughest season of my life personally. And, and it was always, no matter how hard it got, it was always great being able to know that I could tune in once, twice a week, even during the off season, and especially even during the lockout, and then hear you guys just being able to be two buds, talk about the sport that I love, and talk about it in a way where it was fun and informative and interesting. And so I want to just say again, thank you for what you guys have brought. Is more than just talking about baseball. And I'm sure other people feel the same about what y'all's podcast has meant to them. And again, congratulations on 300 episodes, and can't wait to keep listening to number 400. All right, guys. Peace out. I'll hang up and listen. Later.
Attaboy. Follows instructions too. Who was that? He didn't say his name.
I think it was our guy Sean John.
Attaboy. Hey,
Love
look,
that.
I think honestly,
hold on,
I appreciate that.
before you go on, let me just say, this isn't, if you're still listening to this episode at this point, this isn't like a pat ourselves on the back. When I put out a note about episode 300, in the description I said, send us your favorite memory, your favorite joke, quote, comment, whatever, or any really. I mean, there's current event questions scattered throughout here, so we may even get to some current day baseball. So I wasn't just like, hey, tell us how much you love us. This is up to what the listener wanted to share. So all that to say, much appreciated. Nate, continue.
Yeah, no, honestly, much appreciated. I think I don't know. We've never really looked at that in that perspective before. I think I can speak for both of us by saying, like, you know what, that's not why we ever thought of doing this. It was just kind of to talk shop and talk baseball. And like, I mean, I genuinely appreciate that acknowledgement of, you know, that sounds awesome, but we never thought we would be some type of staple during any type of, you know, rough stretch in life, or, you know, if we offer a healthy distraction, that's more than what we could ask to provide. So thanks for that. I appreciate that.
Very much apprecited. We got a DM from Eric. He says his favorite memory was the Coors Field episode and winning his Mike Trout jersey from us. Much love. Congrats. #300.
Nice.
People
That
forget,
Coors Field episode was great.
Dude, that was the more I think back on that, I want to say it was episode. I need to look it up because I don't want to mislead people if they want to go back and listen. That was a fun one. I didn't
was
think
it
we'd
close
be able
to 100? Was it close to like 100, 150?
It was. I want to say it was like 70s or 80s actually.
Shout out Mama Reyes as well for being at that game.
Yeah, that was.
She was there. She was chilling in her seats. We were roaming around.
It was at that series because I think if I remember,
we went to two games, didn't we?
It was a 2-gamer. I think the first game is when we did that recording. And then the next game, we just hung out with Mama Reyes, ate some Coors Field nachos. That was fantastic. 90, episode 90. So you were right, close to 100. Episode 90, and that's back when we didn't even talk about it. We've talked about it before, but for this particular episode, we didn't even mention the whole transition from Dirt to Diamonds baseball. That's back when we were Dirt to Diamonds baseball. As part
it was
of
a mouthful. It was a mouthful, yeah.
Episode 90, DTD does Denver. Go back and listen if you want to get some old school Nate and Kyle.
I don't think that promo code works anymore either.
I don't think that promo code works either. Let's go. Well, there's another DM we got here because I think we have some more DMs. I noticed that people were far more comfortable leaving DMs and voicemails, which is understandable. Because
come on now, it's not that bad. just remember that all you're doing is speaking into a phone. That's all this
Phone call
is.
anxiety is a real thing, dude. I get
It
that.
is. I get it. But I mean, I don't know. Eventually you get over it. And we're not judging you. No one here is judging you on how
No
you
judgment
sound.
whatsoever.
No.
We appreciate any and all feedback, regardless
Yeah.
of the medium. Gus says his favorite part is anytime Stephen A. Reyes comes out, he says it's always a good time.
It's gotta be selective. It's gotta be, it can't come out all the time, but
Yeah.
it's heating up. I mean, it's just, I think when we get to this home stretch, we get into September,
yeah.
October baseball, some juices flowing. Your boy's going to get hot. Yeah. Stephen A. Reyes is there somewhere.
Well, it's funny you say that because I think I'm going to go back and look. It was one of the early episodes. Episode 6 is anything worse than August. And the description says, we talk about the worst month in baseball. I think we can agree that August baseball just sucks. Like,
It's tough, dude. These are dog days for sure.
just blows. And so I think you're right. I think we will start seeing some more Stephen A. Reyes in the coming weeks.
Just got to get there. Just got to get there.
Through August. Braves content / Andrew, as we know him, Braves content on Instagram says, offer still stands. Come to a Braves game at Truist. Tickets, first beer, and a hot dog, in parentheses, or tenders on me. He knows.
Hey-o.
He
Well,
knows.
here's what
he knows what
I
I'm about.
actually forgot to mention this to you because it just kind of got locked down. Shout out Colin. I'm sure you've heard a couple of his DMs and a couple of his comments. He's one of my close buddies. We're going to a bachelor party for his wedding in Atlanta. We're going to catch an Atlanta game. I think Braves, maybe even Mets.
Ooh.
I'm
Wait,
not
when is
sure.
this?
Mid-September. So just over a month out. I think it's like the 15th through the 19th. We'll be out in Atlanta playing some golf, catching some Braves games. I didn't look at the schedule specifically, but I feel like they're playing somebody decent. If it's Mets, I'm going to be
15th through the 19th?
Yeah.
The Phillies are in town.
Phillies. Solid.
That's a great matchup.
And honestly, your boy, I told Colin this already, your boy might be picking up a Chipper Jones jersey. I might have to snag one.
Grab one of the Mitchell and Ness, dude. That would be fun.
Yeah. I think I might. Because like Chipper is like, that smooth swinging Chipper was way too cool to not root for. But I'll be in there, Andrew. I'll be down there, and Colin will also be there, and maybe you can buy him a beer for his bachelor party. So we'll be there mid-September.
All right, it's time for another voicemail. I think you'll recognize this one, Nate.
Kyle, this is your mother. I'm so proud of you and Nate on this milestone accomplishment. I remember when you began this journey by blogging insights which I will always treasure, to elevating to this phenomenal podcast. I can't wait to see what the next 300 episodes bring, you and Nate. Remember, you're never too old for Big League Chew. Love you.
Preach.
And the plug. And the plug.
And the plug for BLC.
Mama Corwin knows how to sell. I love it.
Mama Corwin knows that was her favorite part of the whole brand was back when it was Dirt Diamonds Baseball, and I was just like blogging about playing college baseball and the player experience, and then it transitioned from that to what it is now. But she doesn't let me forget. I think
you gotta remember the roots where it started.
That's the parents' job. You can't let you forget where she came from, and I think she's even maybe a little bitter that I gave that up. I think she wanted me to keep doing that, but
probably right. Right. I think both mamas on the Corwin and Reyes side were just top tier baseball moms, like the best we could ask for. So
absolutely
good voicemail there. I like it.
Voicemail from Mom. Love you, Mom. A DM we got. Luke says his favorite memory is the time Nate fell on a scooter and cut open his chin.
That's fresh. That's still fresh.
That's still fresh.
There's if you're watching on YouTube, a little bald patch you can see.
It's healing.
So I don't see any hair growing there anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, that was I'm glad I'm glad I could.
I'm glad the
amuse
beard's
people.
back.
The beard had to come back.
It's that was rough. That was rough.
That was not a good look. It'll never happen again.
That was rough. Another voicemail here.
Hey Kyle, hey Nate, how are you guys? This is Jonathan down from Miami calling and leaving a voicemail. First off, once again, love what you guys do. The last time I was able to even have a conversation with y'all was when we were doing the video calls. If one thing I would love to say is if you could bring those back, surprise some of the new guys, some of the new fans, and even surprising some of the more consistent older fans like me and any other one else, that would be awesome. I'm not asking for you to call on a daily basis or anything of that sort, but it was such a cool thing to do, and even an amazing idea like this with the voicemails. Just wanted to give love and appreciation to the pod, and mainly love and appreciation. And then I wanted to also go on a bit of a rant in how, being from Miami, I'm a Marlins dude, and I can't get it. I can't get over what Miami's doing right now. I know you guys are repping Marlins, even though you guys are your respective Red Sox and Yankee fans. Like, I know you guys will support the Marlins, but I gotta ask, like, do you guys really think that Kim over there in the front office is doing her job well? Because you got to ask yourself a bunch of questions. Like, I've been seeing a lot of like talks before the trade deadline had passed about how there was a possibility of a fire sale and whatnot. And I'm happy there was no fire sale, but it's like, do you think there'd be more of a push in regards to, I don't know, trying to win? If you guys could give me your 2 cents through the DMs, or if I get a chance to listen to it on episode 300, and also to jog a bit of memory in case you guys really don't remember who I am. I'm the dude that in the video call mentioned how I was starting from square zero. I don't know if there's any other fans that do this, but I was starting from square zero from the first episode, and just trying to catch up. And y'all told me to go ahead and do that and do some homework and basically call you guys out in regards to takes that never aged well, or even praise you guys on takes that aged well. Haven't gotten to doing that, and I have been lacking on the pod, but for that specific reason, just I like going back in time and reading and hearing and seeing how things panned out. All I know is that I do need to catch up for 300. I wish you guys the best of luck with everything, and congratulations on 300, guys. It's such
Oh, they cut
off. Jonathan Sosa, I believe, is his last name, right? I remember.
Yeah, dude, Jonathan, we didn't forget about you, dude.
Yeah.
So for those who are like, what is he talking about, video calls? So Nate and I had this idea back in...
I think we might have to revisit this a little bit.
It was when I was at the old apartment.
Mm-hmm.
So this would have had to have been 2019, 2020, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
We had the idea of just picking a random follower who, like just regularly engages with our stuff. And we're like, hey, let's just hop on an Instagram video call and surprise them and see if they pick up, and we can just talk some ball for a few minutes. And we did it with him, and unfortunately I haven't revisited since then, but
yeah,
I thoroughly enjoyed it. So we certainly have not forgotten Jonathan.
No.
But yeah, that's something I think we need to,
have to
revisit.
Yeah, may have to bring that back. Look, just to be clear on certain things here, I'm no longer rooting for the Marlins. The way things happen with Jeter, I'm sorry. I'm kind of out. I do root for Kim Ng. I hope she continues to build something down there. I think Miami needs to realize at some point they are Miami, and that's an amazing destination to start bringing some players in. And it's a cool city. There's obvious sports fans down there. They need to continue to build that. I love that they didn't sell anybody big during this most recent trade deadline. It's time to commit in a direction and start building around this what looks to be really good rotation.
A DM again. I said leave it open to ask us literally anything, share anything. So we got some current event stuff in here as well. So
I love it.
This is all just right off the cuff. Mr. Analyst 1180 on Instagram says both teams are in the playoffs, Red Sox and Yankees. This is a hypothetical, of course, because the Red Sox currently are not in the postseason. Both teams are in the playoffs. What's your game day food or snack?
Wow, great question. It's a great question.
All right, let's build this out a little further. Let's just say they're matching up against one another. It's a Friday.
Okay.
No, forget it. Forget Friday. Let's throw Friday out the window. Let's say it's a Saturday.
I love Saturdays.
You got the whole day open.
Yeah.
Got the whole day open. You got Red Sox, Yankees in the postseason.
Are we in those
at 8:00?
Are we in those cities in this scenario? Are we in Boston or are we in New York?
For the sake of the question, sure. What is your game day food?
Game day
or
food.
snack?
New York City. I'm starting out with a Murray's Bagel for sure. I'm assuming it's a night game, so lunch hit me with Faicho's Deli. Insane grinders there, and they're like huge. They're massive sandwiches. And then ballpark wise, hit me with there's a sneaky good spot for the cheeseburgers there. They're not at every spot. It's in the I think it's not the Legends section. It's a different section. I don't remember the name of it. But hit me with that. Hit me with the chicken tendies and garlic parmesan fries. Hello, those hit. And then post game, hit me with a slice of Joe's Pizza. That's my New York City Yankee game day. I've literally probably had that. And you can mix in a Shake Shack visit at some point in that. But that's what I've eaten. I've brought in a cool 15 to 20,000 calories in a Yankees day. No doubt.
That's alarming.
That's
That's alarming.
Artery clogging amount of food.
I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't know. Boston's tough. I'm to be honest with you, I'm not even really in the Boston headspace right now because
That's fair.
if for some reason they decided to turn things up a notch and maybe sneak in one of these wild card spots, I feel like we're just going to be in New York. So I feel like I'm just thinking New York, and if we were there, I'd have to have you take me to
You'd let me take the
hot
reins,
spots
huh?
for pizza. But definitely chicken tenders. That, generally speaking, that's just my
They're
ballpark
solid there.
food.
Yeah, they're good.
That's my game day food. And then I'd let you lead me to the best pizza spot that you can find.
There's a couple. Joe's is kind of like the late night slice. Hit you with Roberta's in Brooklyn. We'd find some good spots, man. Yeah.
Stevie O says, with a possible MVP finish this season, is Goldie a quiet Hall of Famer?
That's a great question. I bet if we look up the career numbers, I bet there's a lot of under the radar stuff he did in with the Diamondbacks.
He did say, look at his numbers.
All right, let me pull it up here.
Tell me what we got.
Let's see what we got going. Okay, so career 56 WAR, career 296 hitter. He does have 306 home runs. Career 371 doubles. He's over the 1,000 mark for RBIs.
How many seasons has he played?
12. This is his 12th season. Debuted in 2011. He's 1699 in hits, so he's most likely going to definitely be a 2,000 hit guy. He is 34 at this point. So I feel like 2,500 hits is a big ask. Probably looking at that 22 to 2,400 range. Multiple Gold Gloves.
I don't know. It's all said and done. He might have a case.
I don't think first ballot. If yeah, I'm probably going to say not first ballot if it continues on this track. If he can get to 400 home runs, though, that would probably solidify the first ballot for me. I just don't know. 400 home runs and 2,500 hits is kind of like the bare minimum for me to be a first ballot guy. But yeah, I mean, he's going to creep up on 1,000 walks pretty soon. He might end up around that 1,500 mark for RBIs. I'll say yeah, eventually. Yeah. It's just, I hate that and this is also new. I mean, we're seeing him peak at 34. Like he's finally breaking onto the scene and announcing who he is. So maybe he's got more in the tank than we think. Who knows? But he's been a 30 home run guy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different times. This year could be the 7th time. Give me 4 more years of this kind of Goldie. And he's in.
He'll have a case. James says his favorite memory is when he beat me to win our fantasy league championship.
This is, I mean, James will never, ever forget this. He'll take this all the way.
I don't know how many times I need to say it. Like, a fantasy championship is not won in a single week matchup. That's why starting this year we moved playoffs to 2-week matchups.
Big mistake. Big mistake. The whole playoff system was 2 weeks, and then the championship was 1 week, and that's not how it needs to be done.
Yeah, not a fan of that. So
I'm going to call it a fluke, James.
But
overall,
yeah,
just like your Marlins success.
Yikes!
Oh, James, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. We know.
Well,
we love
as
you.
we've mentioned on here, if you're lucky enough to be in our fantasy league and you're good enough to win the fantasy league, you get automatic invitation into the fantasy league the next year, which James did. And I'm pretty sure James has 1 win this entire season.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and call James' championship a fluke.
Yeah.
But he does have he did win a jersey. So he at least has that to hang over my head. So can't say too much, but yeah, it was a fluke. Bryce asked, do you all remember when me and Aiden duked it out for some Stay Filthy decals? Do you remember that?
I don't.
You don't remember? It was when Bryce and Aiden, I can't remember the context, but I think it was like,
is it a giveaway or?
It was some sort of giveaway or something, and I think we were having them see who could do the most to warrant like sending them some Stay Filthy decals, which I still have, by the way. I have like a whole stack of Stay Filthy decals. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. I don't know.
Our giveaways over the years we've had some good giveaways.
We've given
some
some
solid
stuff
giveaways.
away, dude. Hello, we partnered with a Cal Ripken signed baseball a couple months ago and gave that away.
Cal Ripken signed baseball, have given multiple jerseys away, decals, phone cases. I think we talked about maybe giving tickets away at some point moving forward.
Beverages at games, adult or PG.
I love it. All right, here's another voicemail.
What's up, boys? It's Andrew from Braves Content again. I know I called a couple episodes ago, but just wanted to call back for the 300. Tell you guys congratulations. It's a hell of a milestone. Super proud to be a listener. I've been a listener for, I guess, about a year now, since the Mike Soroka interview episode. That was when I first started listening. So it's been a great journey. I'm looking forward to the next 300 episodes, I guess. I did have a story and a question. So a few weeks ago, I got to watch Shohei Ohtani against the Braves. I went to all 3 games of the series. In game 1, he threw 11 strikeouts over 6 shutout innings. And then the next day, he hit a 115-mile-an-hour line drive home run. And I was thinking that was one of the most dominant, performances I've ever witnessed in person. So I wanted to know from you guys, what's the most dominant in-person performance you've witnessed at an MLB game?
Ooh.
I'll shut up and listen. Thanks, guys.
Ooh. Wow, that's an excellent question.
I mean, it's probably not the most dominant I've ever seen, but last year's wild card game,
Yeah,
watching
figured.
that Red Sox lineup,
Yeah.
force Garrett Cole to shove his tail in between his legs and walk out of Fenway Park with a massive L hanging over his head. That was pretty good.
That's a fair one for sure. I think the wild card game, Yankees versus the A's, and our
Oakland,
guy
yeah.
Liam started that game pre closer role. He opened that game, and that was dominant. That was Aaron Judge hitting a home run to left in the first inning, and that was electric. That would probably be one for me. As far as a dominant performance, like an individual performance, I don't know if I can nail one down. I did.
That's a great question.
I did see.
I would love to think back on that.
I watched Bryce Harper go 5 for 5 in Coors before when he was still a national. He went 5 for 5. I think he had 2 jacks in that game. That was very impressive. Very impressive.
I feel like I've been to a lot of baseball games. Surely there's got to be one that fits this category.
Watch Ryan Zimmerman walk off Mariano Rivera in the Nationals' first year or two that they were in existence. That was still at RFK Stadium before the Nationals Park was opened up. That was a walk-off against the Yanks. That was probably 2010. That's all I got, man. That's all I can think of, really.
I know there's some good ones out there, but can't think of anything on the spot. But that's a great question.
Yeah.
I would love to go because my dad kept scrapbooks of me growing up, like all the trips and stuff we'd take, and he's got like tickets, and when we do like these field tours, he'd grab like some dirt and some grass from the field. Like we have grass blades from Fenway out in left field where Ted Williams played. I mean, we've got all sorts of stuff. So I'm sure at one point I could go back and look, and I'm sure there's tickets from a game.
Yeah, we'd have to look the game up and remember. Yeah, I think when you're there, you obviously just kind of get lost in the overall like outcome of the game versus a specific performance.
Right.
I did see CeCe's 3,000th strikeout here in Arizona. That was cool. Yeah, some good moments.
Some good ones.
Pretty blessed.
Jeff says, proud of you boys. Been a hell of a ride. Jeff's been an OG listener. He goes way back.
Yeah.
Couldn't pinpoint the episode necessarily, but I know he's been with us for the long haul.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my favorite parts about all of this is hearing like when people kind of hop on board.
That's cool.
Stick with us moving forward.
I mean, it reminds us. It's like, wow, people are still learning. That's cool. Still hopping in and just like hearing about us for the first time. So if this is your first episode, welcome. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hopefully you stick around.
Let's see here. We got a couple more. All right, here's a DM, or here's a voicemail.
Hey guys, this is Jacob, calling and asking a question. How do the Dodgers keep winning? I say that in the aspect of they just traded for Joey Gallo, who's hitting 159. They have Max Muncy, who is absolutely tanked from last year at 162. And who is Cody Bellinger? Do we still think Cody Bellinger is he can't be traded anymore, so is he going to be DFA'd anytime soon? Do they actually like Cody Bellinger over there still? He's hitting 205. It's like almost, if not, the 3 worst batting averages in baseball, and they're still winning. So how did they do it? Just curious. Thanks, guys.
I think it's one word. You can just say one word. It's depth.
Yeah.
That's what they have. I mean, that's what they've successfully built. And I mean, Mookie and Freddie and Chris Taylor accepting a utility role and not caring where he plays. You have smart baseball players that just overall they have one goal in mind, and they kind of just pick each other up, man. They pick each other up. They have one of the best catchers in baseball, and an obvious amount of arms that affect ball games. Trey Turner is probably going to be in some MVP conversation, maybe top 5. I don't think he wins it, but like you've got names that just they know how to do it. And again, I said it at the beginning of the episode. You wish your team had the same mentality that the Dodgers have. They got it.
I think for me, it goes back to the point I made earlier this episode when we were talking Dodgers, and it's that you can have all the information you want on paper. You can have all the assets, all the names, all the pieces, but you have to play the baseball games. You have to play the games. And the Dodgers don't really care who you add at the deadline. They don't care who you add in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
They're a powerhouse, and when it's time for the games to be played, they win the baseball games.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it goes back to, like you said, the depth, and there's obviously some more factors that play into that. But at the end of the day, they just know how to win baseball games.
And a top-heavy division. Just saying.
Top-heavy division, but a talented ball club nonetheless.
Yeah.
That is not afraid to spend money.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. We got another voicemail here and one more DM. We can wrap this thing up.
Hey, I'm calling wondering if you guys have ever considered looking at foreign leagues like Japan's NPB, the Mexican League, or maybe look at the Puerto Rican or Dominican leagues. I'm just interested in hearing what you guys think and if you guys have actually considered this. I hope you guys have a good day.
Look, and not to cut you off if you're going to say anything, but people have asked me this before. They're like, well, do you guys get into, like, people that don't necessarily know all that much about the podcast? They'd be like, do you talk about like minor league baseball? Do you guys get into like the college level?
Mm-hmm.
And my response to them every time is just, following Major League Baseball as a whole is hard enough. And like, you get these people, you hear all these, I'm not going to like put other like people in the sports world down, but like you hear all the time about these members in the media on TV shows or on podcasts where they're multi-sport people.
Yeah.
And you listen to them and you're like,
you actually don't really know what you're talking about.
You don't know what you're talking about, but you're
Yeah.
just a talking head for
Yeah.
multiple sports that's being paid by this organization that has a lot of money. And I'm not going to sit here and act like we're experts by any stretch. We've made it very clear that we're just two regular dudes who grew up playing baseball together that like talking about baseball on a larger scale. But going back to my point is that covering Major League Baseball as a whole is already difficult enough. Like, there's literally 30 teams that you kind of have to keep your eye on.
Yeah.
And surely that fluctuates throughout the year as teams start to win more, teams start to lose more. But
Yeah.
Major League Baseball is hard enough. So that for me, I feel like that's where we've kind of drawn the line. And
hey, I think we both have ambitions and goals and hopes that this becomes a full-time thing for us, where we can build a future financially and help our families with doing this. That'd be great. That is the dream, I think. When that becomes the case, I think, yes, we can start to expand into understanding other aspects of baseball, not just MLB. But yeah, I mean, it's when we got full-time jobs, and it's kind of hard to, as much as Kyle ignores his stuff in the middle of the day.
Yo, come on now. Don't be throwing me out there like that.
He still has commitments he's got to make. And, obviously I got my job as well. So it's hard. I wish we could. But someday, if you continue to tell your friends and family of what we do here and we grow this bad boy, someday you're going to see us at press conferences asking the important questions and doing this full time.
Number one, I'm just going to go out there and say on the record, I'm on my lunch break. Number two, Number 2, I agree with you. I think the goal and ambition is there to make this into something even bigger than it. Like, I mean, we talked about, I didn't really see us being where we are today when we started this thing.
Yeah.
But now that we're here, it's like, what's stopping us from continuing to grow this thing? So I'm right there with you on that. But it's going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of work. And might not be a bad time to just plug in the old subscribe review thing that we throw out there every now and then. If you're listening, help us out. Hit the subscribe button.
It makes a big difference.
Leave us a review.
Definitely does.
It really does. It really does.
And also, like, so, I know you got to check, like, the download thing. Sometimes those platforms get a little funky where they're, like, on auto download, and then it stops if you don't do it for a while. Just do me a favor. Just get that done. Get that done for us. And then you will see us in some real content. And you will see Stephen A. Reyes going off on somebody in person, hopefully, in a clubhouse. That's where I want to get with it.
If for no other reason, hit the subscribe button and leave a review so we can see Nate go off on somebody in a post-game press conference.
And then never get invited back.
A lot. Yeah, we lose our passes, our press passes, but it'd be worth it. Got a message from Jack asking if we're a longtime listener. Jack asking if we were recording an episode today, and I said we're recording right now. He said, "Tell Nate to not feel too badly after that sweep." Big Cardinals guy, Jack is. So
yeah.
I just wanted to look. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just relaying the content as it comes.
No, yeah, it's perfect timing to end the episode on. You knew that would piss me off, so that's smart.
No. That's not the last DM. Last DM is from another longtime listener, Murray, one of our favorites. He sends in a DM, says, "Thanks for bringing the baseball community closer. It's been fun learning more about baseball with the people I met through this podcast. Thanks for helping me get through slow days at work, and cheers to another 300. # Dirt to Diamonds."
Murray, my man, you are awesome. And also, if you could happily reach out to Murray anytime you're in LA. That guy's gonna definitely share some drinks with you at a Dodgers game, or give you the little nuggets you need to know about Dodger Stadium and stuff. So he's exactly right. This is a community we hope that we can kind of start to build. And I think if you guys start to build relationships and friends outside of this, I think, that's all we're really hoping for out of this. So thank you. Shout out Murray for sure.
Cheers to 300. Here's to the next 300.
I like it.
That's all I got.
Well, it's go time now. I mean, we don't have anything holding us back anymore. It is just home stretch, dog days, playoff baseball left from here on out. So thanks for sticking with us, everybody. KC, you're the man, dude. You are the heartbeat of this stuff. I love you. I appreciate you. And everybody in here is exactly right, man. Another 300. It's going to be fun. It's going to be good stuff. So that's it for me. Don't go chasing curveballs.
Look, just throwing a word out there for Nate. He's come a long way since episode 2. You go back and listen. We've talked about it countless times on here. Listen to the shakiness in the voice, and then look at where he's at now. He's come a long, long way. And honestly, this podcast wouldn't be half of what it is without Nate. So Nate,
thanks, man.
Much love to you. This has been fun. We're gonna keep it rolling. Hopefully another 300, maybe even more beyond that. Time will tell. But for the meantime, we love you all. And as always, we're looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.